Good morning and welcome to yet another great and informative episode of Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Ikwibike.
And I'm Choma Okoye.
All right, like we always do, we'll be moving straight to our newspaper headlines, and right after that will be our main conversation also for today, where we get everything all sorted. Please do well to be part of our community, have a say in what we say. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment respectfully, that is, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. We have in the studio with us to look through all that we have on our newspaper headlines and possibly take us on our main conversation. Also, Cyril Abaku, journalist and public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Cyril.
Good morning, sir.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. So let's kickstart our dailies today with the first one on our desk, which is...
The first paper on our desk is the Vanguard newspaper, and we will be starting from the top strip. On petrol, banks loan for imports to hit 3.5 trillion naira.
And also we have on the bottom strip here, demolitions. We want to succumb to blackmail, and that's coming from Nyesom Wike, City Minister.
Very true. Okay, still on the bottom strip, body judge to Sanwo-Olu. Lagos traders harassed, flogged like criminals. Details of the particular story on page 18.
And also we have on the grid collapse, certain elements sabotaging power sector reforms. And that's coming from the Minister, Adelabu.
Okay, moving on the top strip on hunger. Children scavenge for leftover at parties, prayer houses. That's unfortunate though.
Yes, very well. So let's look at the story I think we would love to talk about. Obi, that's Peter Obi, can become president in 2027. And it said here, we will prepare very well, and that's coming from Tanko.
Okay, so before we get into that story, let's look at the minimum wage. And also direct workers to defaulting states to begin strike December 1, once against making rivers workers as victims of political crisis.
All right. Just before we get into that, let's look at the Peter Obi desire to become the president in 2027. Of course, in 2023, Peter Obi was the golden boy. Everyone loved him because of him. There were first-time voters in Nigeria in their millions. Unfortunately, INEC did what they did, and it was, of course, greased and taken care of by the judiciary. And do you think it's ever possible for Peter Obi to have that that sort of greatness that he had going into 2023?
It's a possibility because some years ago, I gave a prognosis to a friend as to how a good man emerged as Nigeria's president. He didn't agree with me, but I gave him about 2 or 3 scenarios of possibility. And Peter Obi's emergence fits one of those pathways very perfectly. But it's one thing for them to have a potential, it's another thing for that thing to further potential to become reality. And that's really beyond my control. I've only laid on the table what I feel is a possibility, right? So to that extent, yes, in the realm of possibility, and anything can happen. But, in Nigerian politics, at a time, the devil will invite himself to dinner. You will see him at the dinner table. If you want to, then it depends on what you do there. I happen to have interacted with somebody who was very, very close to my president, Muhammadu Buhari. In fact, at a point when they invite Buhari to go to certain places, he will send him. The man will go at his own expense, represent him, come back. When some of Buhari's close men wanted to start putting him on some subvention, the man refused because he believed in Buhari as a person. Then the years rolled by. As Buhari inched closer to becoming president, all sorts of characters came around him. And people like he, who believed in him for his integrity and everything, couldn't have access to Buhari anymore. To quote him, he said, the devil came to town and Buhari had to hop into the vehicle and, they went. I'm paraphrasing him anyway.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. Buhari, for all you care, used to poll, according to the reports, 12 million votes, except when he ran against Yar'Adua. So in Peter Obi's own case. He does have the competence, he does have the character, he does have the likability. He ticks all the boxes. But in Nigeria, I think that being president isn't just about ticking certain boxes. It's about, you see, when somebody said, Emi Loko, it's my turn. And till tomorrow, we don't know against what he hedged that prophecy or whatever it was, But it happened. So there appears to be an unseen power that makes Nigerian leaders leaders. This is the reason whenever election time comes, you don't hear them talking about ideas. They talk about whose turn it is, not answer. It's as if once they've gone into their enclave or their coven and they've agreed on who will become president, it becomes a fait accompli. We saw it for Shagari, we saw it for Basanjo, we saw it for Yaradua, we saw it for quite a number of them like that. That the moment some people had gone behind closed doors and had reached an agreement, there was nothing anybody could apparently do about it. If you watch the debate between Olufala and Obasanjo in 1999, there is no way you would have thought that Obasanjo should be president. Falaye was by far more cerebral, by far more, look, if you want to talk of proven integrity, Falaye was working. When Babangida invited him to come and be finance minister and the SGF. Back in the day, the man went on what the secondment. What that meant was that as you are here now, they come and become the spokesman to the governor. You are still a staff of Enterprise TV. So when you go there, they will pay you what Enterprise TV is paying you here. So you're just going there on secondment. When you're done there, you come back here. Imagine, you know that sort of. It is not as if, oh, governor, they call me that my own, he didn't do that. And this man till today. I mean, till tomorrow, he's an intellectual. Nigeria will see Olufalaye and then vote for Obasanjo, who just came out of prison and who are not even healed from the heart of it. So these are the issues. Obi does stand a very good chance. And frankly, if I had to choose, I would think he's my candidate, But the Nigerian situation, imagine that after the election, our own information minister went to Washington to say, we know that they continually shut the server, the transmission server for results. What does that mean? In places like Mushin and Isol and other places, people couldn't vote. They had to trek distances, somewhere that has a job to go and vote. Then, candidates who are supposed to, because in Nigeria we do federal elections one day, state elections the other day. For the federal elections, there were some polling units where you didn't have Labour Party rep member, Labour Party Senate candidate. So some of that would also, people may say, they know they are in a work. But Obi beat Tinubu in Lagos, beat him in Abuja, beat him in a lot of places. If not for the abracadabra and weekend in Port Harcourt, I mean, it's almost as good as if Obi won the election. But like you said, if the Nigerian team will like, can I answer that question? I think it's something like first time. I don't. But I do agree. Even if Peter Obi can't win, let's face the fact. He is a candidate that is naturally preferable for president. Even if he does not, I mean, this assume without conceding that he didn't have the charisma. If you look at Obi and Kingsley Moghalu, for example, Moghalu is equally brilliant, but does not have the charisma and the following that Obi has. So, but again, if you put Moghalu on the table, and some people, Moghalu is easily your man for the job. So that's what I'm saying. Even if Obi didn't have the sort of charisma he has, he still looks to me a better leadership material than the other. But how much money he has it? But they will definitely shut him out of the second and say he can't.
Okay, now, so before we get to the next story, looking at Obi now wanting to be president, if Obi is to merge with someone who has the power to pull people in, and maybe if they are to do, okay, let me say the tribalism card is being played, who should he merge with to actually pull in the votes and buy the heart of people?
Okay. And which position do you think he will be placed?
Obi?
Yes.
Well, Obi has to be president.
Let's say if he's vice.
I mean, it will be up to him. But if that will come across as him betraying his political constituency, it's up to him. But I do know that, earlier on there had been, he should be vice, Pampaso and Atiku. But he has to be careful. Because you see, this thing, politics is very dicey. Politics is a game. It's a Game of Thrones, frankly.
That's Nigerian politics.
It's a Game of Thrones. It's a very dirty, shady Game of Thrones. In fact, to be honest with you, Mr. Bo, I grew up celebrate my father's decision not to go into politics. Because I personally told him, they always came to the house, come and run for chairman, come on. But he always had the option in them, which I couldn't personally understand because, of course, I was a child. But as a grown man, I'm happy that he didn't get into it. Politics can be very shady and dirty. But to answer the question, right, I would think that you have an Obi president, then a person for vice.
Okay.
Atiku cannot be a vice a second time. And he has said that if he sees a younger person, he will be willing to cede. Kwankwaso has already said, I want to be a vice president. He has said it. Some months ago, he said that even if he's more qualified, more exposed, more connected, it doesn't mind being P2B's vice president. But a Kwankwaso for vice president, he's having two presidents in the. So that's what I said. He has to be very careful if he wants to go there. But he can be sure of almost winning the election. I can tell you that. You know why? The so-called KKK states. If you have a Kwankwaso on a ticket, Kanu is in the back. Jigawa is in the back. Kaduna is split. And they can also shake Katsina. The southeast is in the back. The
South, yeah.
Might as well be in the back.
And this time, River State might not see that too.
Yes. And if the southwest also wants to play ball, then you can be sure that something may happen. But this is mere mathematics.
Exactly. Of course.
Things keep changing.
Thank you so much, sir.
It's a roving dog.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's look at this particular story. NLC directs workers in defaulting states to begin strike December 1. And looking at the defaulting states, why would defaulting states not want to pay the minimum wage? And at this time, and even looking at the situation of the country,
they are not willing to pay. And that's why I've said worker salaries can be put on first line charge.
So when you talk about first line charge, what do you?
The governor wouldn't have to be giving them approvals. The president does not. The National Assembly, their salaries, all those are first line charge. That's why once it's approved, once money to be dispersed, it goes up. It's automatic deduction. It doesn't need to go to the president to say, okay, with the president will sign tomorrow before I get salaries. No. It's first line charge. Everything on first line charge from source is deducted. It goes. The president does not have to sign off on it. It's statutory. So if workers pay, or then the governors who are not paying, I think because like I said, we ought to evolve with our democracy. We need to know why because worker salaries is not like funding education, funding road projects, which you can do at discretion. Salary is salary because they're implemented and should be paid. So any governor not paying, we should check. If they're stealing the money, they should be prosecuted and the money should be brought back. In fact, every governor, and this is not just EFC, every governor, right, should be assessed on salary payment once he's out of office. If he didn't, why was he able to pay? If the money was in any way stolen or embezzled, it should be a different kind of crime. We shouldn't model it up with other crimes. The money must be paid back in area because even with the 5,000 minimum wage that they're paying, a lot of governors didn't pay it. You know what I mean? They didn't pay. Now it has gone to 70,000, and some are still not going to pay. Why? If somebody who is getting money, it's not as if you're waiting for the grass you planted to grow or for fish to come out of the water for you to sell and pay salaries. The money is not from Abuja State. Why can't they simply pay salaries and then do other things with what is left? But they wouldn't.
Well, yeah, while we talk about while we talk about that, at least I am very aware the national state governor was desiring to pay, but NLC said he should hold back for certain reasons. I do not know why it is so, but let's see how it goes. But let's take a look at the Daily Trust, a newspaper, and we have the story on the top strip here. Rescue our children. Parents of Zamfara students in Cyprus beg governor.
Okay, moving on, still on the top strip. Protest trails demolition of Ruga. Wiki invites victims.
And also Kao to Kano government to don't please Kwankwaso at expense of masses.
Okay, still on the front page, where the big story here, cement hits 8,800 as cost of building materials skyrockets. We have 3 items to the particular story. Iron rod jumps from 800,000 to 1.6 million in 1 year. Situation dashing our hope of owning houses. That is coming from citizens. Experts blame Naira depreciation, transportation cost.
And also we have Nigerians win elections in the United States of America and Australia.
Okay, on the Edo governorship, ICPC to probe INEC officials over infractions.
All right, but let's take a look at the issue of the deficit in housing in Nigeria. I do not know the percentage of the provision for housing to Nigerians now. Before now, we used to have low cost houses
Sure.
built by state governors and given to people who do not have a certain kind of money. Now, I do not know what's left of the low cost
Cost
houses.
houses.
Now, private sector that are desiring to build houses, 8,800 naira per bag. How do you think we can meet the gap here?
That is even cement. Cement.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cement. Iron rod. They don't want to talk about this thing. And in addition to that, you see, because people have been driven into serious, desperate choices. I don't know if you've not experienced it. Once your rent is due now, they just tell you leave the house. You
Very
know
true.
why? They say leave. It's a gimmick because they want to raise that money by maybe 100%. They know that they told that at you, so they just say go. Then the person who comes next, I spoke to somebody from Port Harcourt last night. They said that two people left their compound. The landlord from 500,000 told them to pay the people that came in now pay 1 million. So they're waiting for him to come and tell them what. In my mind, I said, you will tell it to leave. You will not tell it to, you will tell it to leave. So you really want to beg him, This is the problem. The cost of housing has, and it has not gone up independently. The things are going up because the economy. Yeah, so it's like it's a ripple effect. Okay, and for as long as we are not determined, like I say, we must agree on where we want to go. Let me digress a little. So this cement house bill is not the only option open to us.
Okay.
Professor Demas Nwoko began a revolution at University of Ibadan. He was using mud to build. We are not always building houses with. No, don't laugh it off.
You mean high rise? Are you?
Yes, it's there.
Yes,
It's there. Professor Demas Nwoko, you can world class architect and builder, whatever it is. We're open to options. In Lagos, the governor the other day talked of opening up what's it called? This eco-friendly, but they just launched one thing, maybe for the propaganda, then they leave it there. If you wait for all of us to have cement, some people have to do research to get money. The simple thing is that once we've done it, even if it's container housing, people are doing this. It's innovative. It's innovative. It's just that because now with this whole subsidy gone thing, the middle class is literally gone.
Gone.
And at the second, people can no longer fly.
Very true.
No one here that's going to plan. You have a trip to Port Harcourt or to Enugu. You can book your ticket by Christmas. You can fly.
Yeah.
America are still doing that. When 6 months ago, what you used to buy a ticket is what everyone's struggling to now get a bus. People are having to instead of traveling to going to the park, they will take a car to one of these expressways.
Yeah.
They wait for somebody who is
driving by.
his boss's car to take you from here to Shaddam and things like that. So we are not, and look, there are moral problems, social problems, economic problems. The government must understand that everything and anything it does has a reverberation of every other thing else. So not that later on that I'm never going to build. I was telling someone, I said, this one that they raise, if you want to get a house, let's say a 2-bedroom flat with everything, agency, you're looking at nothing less than 2 to 5 to 3 million naira to just move into the house. How then do you want to sustain that kind of
Lifestyle.
lifestyle? It's not going to work. It's not. The earlier we sat down to discuss these things, the better, because you would end up promoting corruption and crime. Let me tell you, people are standing on the road with guns, customs, police, and we say I don't take it.
They all have bills to pay. Unfortunately.
Oh my God.
they all have bills.
Look, not just the old bills. Themselves,
Family.
family, friends.
Side chicks.
Oh, come on.
But let's take a look at this from a political. Let's take a look at this from a political vantage point in Lagos State, particularly before the election or after the elections. Indigents of Lagos State, said that the reason why most of them could not vote in Lagos was because of the economy that allowed them move out of Lagos State to neighboring states, and foreigners coming to take over. So how do you think this can better solve this problem? Or do you think we would come to a time when the entirety of a state is taken over by foreigners because locals can't sustain the place?
Themselves. Let me tell you the truth. From what we've seen in Europe and even, let's say, English speaking Dubai, for example, half of Nigeria's population, 50% of them, will be solved by technology adoption. It's possible, it can happen. I am for being able to vote for the governor of the state where I reside and the governor of the state where I come from, if I so choose.
Okay.
I am for being able to vote for the LJ chairman where I reside and for the LJ chairman where I come from, depending on the parameters we set by law.
Wherever you are.
Yes. I've talked of diaspora voting now. People are in diaspora, but because they send money back home, and because I've not changed my nationality, I can, yes. So technology is the answer. Is a possibility whether so I'll travel to Kenya because that's where I registered and I have to go. It doesn't make sense.
Thank you so much, sir.
If I live in Lagos, even if my job is in Ogun, I hope you know my taxes are paid in Lagos where I live. So if I live in Lagos and I contribute to Lagos, why can't I decide who leads me in Lagos? And my hometown, for me, if it is on basis of remittance or my connection, whatever it's, maybe I've not left, maybe 5 years within, maybe in the first 10 years of living my home state, I should be able to vote for whoever is going to be in power. In that, we can have discussions. The problem is that in Nigeria, like in 2005, when they had the National Reform Conference, Obasanjo said these are no-go areas. The countries we always run to have said that there are no no-go areas. Every area must be a goable area. We must discuss on the table. And because if you don't, you will not heal. You know, sometimes people avoid, even in marriages, couples avoid certain discussions. You know why? Because they feel if they plunge into it. But if you can muster the maturity to face those things, you will come out better, stronger. People who have had crisis and have survived them are stronger than those who scared. And you know, so there must be the willingness. One day, this North South problem in Nigeria will be solved. Because if it is not solved, the inevitable is only housing.
Thank you so much, sir.
Because you can eat your cake and have it. So if you do not like technology, then the repercussion of not having technology would definitely, call home.
Okay.
All right, that's just about the size of our package for this particular segment. And when we return,
Terror Group Lakurawa kills 15 in KB State as security agents. Northern leaders fight over how the new terror group came to be. Stay with us.